Welcome to Level 1, Lesson 1. In this lesson we're gonna learn a beginner's arrangement of the song Hey Jude that was originally released by the Beatles in 1968. Those of you who know the song will notice that I've rearranged it quite a bit. I have removed the original chorus and replaced it with what is originally the outro. It's still a great song, and it's a really good tool to start out on the guitar on. The lesson is going to be a little bit lengthy since we have to cover some basic terminology. So let's just start. The guitar has a body, a head, and in between the body and the head you got a neck. And on the neck you got what we call the fretboard. And the frets are the areas between these metal strips. Above the fretboard you got the strings that are making the sounds. And the strings are hanging on something that we call the nut, this area here, and the bridge. So, and when we look at things, it's done through a numbering system. We number the strings, we number the frets, and we also number the fingers we're going to use. So, this hand is called the fretting hand, and this hand is called the picking hand. The fretting hand fingers are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't use the thumb on the fretboard, at least not yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The strings are a bit illogically numbered from bottom up. It's string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and the frets are numbered from left to right from the player's perspective. So it's fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We also talk about fret 0. Fret 0 is when you're not fretting. So it's called an open string. It's just when you just play the string without putting any finger on it. Open string or fret 0. We're now going to try to learn how to play a note. A note we're going to play is located on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And we're going to play it with the 1st finger. So the process will be, we count the strings. It was the 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a string. And then we're gonna find the fret on this string, and it was the 2nd fret. So open 4th string is fret 0. You then got fret 1 and fret 2. And that's the note we were going to play. So as you fret, there are a couple of things you should think about. First of all, do not do this. Do not flatten out this finger joint. You get a very weak grip then. So you should try to have a bit of an angle in this finger joint. And also when you press, try pressing towards the thumb, not to the side of it. Just like you're holding something like this. And the third thing is you should try to put your finger between the metal strips. The closer you get to a metal strip, the harder it is to get a note. So if it's just in between them, that's the part where it's easiest to get a note. So this is the note we're going to play, and we have our finger ready, and we're going to pick it now. And the technique we're going to use here is something I call a linear half stroke. This will be explained further out in this course. It's a linear half stroke. Half strokes are rotations of the wrist. So what we're going to do is we're going to point the tip of the pick right into the guitar and try to keep the pick close to a 90-degree angle straight out from the guitar, and we're just gonna twist our wrist like this. So I twisted my wrist and I moved the wrist, then moved the wrist a little bit outwards. Doing this, two things tend to happen. The first thing is this. You twist the wrist, but you get a very weak note. This is because you're letting the resistance of the string pull your wrist upwards. You have to be a little bit resolute and make sure that you don't move the wrist until the pick has passed the string. Then move it outwards or a little bit upwards, because if you don't move it, you're gonna do this. You're hitting too many strings. So it's a twist and a little outwards, upwards motion. So we're going to try to do that. We're going to do it 16 times. I give you a count of 4 and then we start. So, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So, how do we write this down? In the start of this course, we're going to use something called chord charts, or just charts. And they are a simple drawing of the guitar neck, where you draw 6 horizontal lines representing the strings, and then you draw vertical lines representing the fret. We then count in the same way and find the spot where the note is, and we put a little dot in that place. In notation, chord charts are generally tipped up. This could be a little bit confusing. So what you're seeing is the guitar held like this. Inside the dot or below the chart, you will see a number indicating which finger you should use. In this case, finger 1. So the note we just played is going to look like this. In this case, the fingering is inside the dot. We're now going to try to learn another note by reading it from a chart. The note we're going to play here looks like this, and as you see, it's located on the 3rd string and the 1st fret, and it's going to we play with finger 1. So we say 1, 2, 3. We're now on fret 0, and we put down for 1st finger on the 1st fret, like that. So, we're going to use the same technique. We're going to play it 16 times again. So it's twisting our wrist on my count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as you notice, I didn't count to 16 this time. I counted to 4 times. And this gives us a reason to cover some basic rhythmical terminology. So, the numbers I'm counting is called beats. Beats are divided into bars. And in this case, we divided them into bars of 4. And we call this that we're playing in a time signature of 4 quarters. So what we're doing, we were playing this note on every beat for 4 bars in a 4-quarter time signature. We're now gonna put together a little exercise based on these 2 notes. This one and that one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna alternate between them. You're gonna play on beat 1 and on the wait for a bar, and on the next one you're gonna play the next note. It's gonna sound like something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, to do this, you're gonna get a practicing video, which is something you're gonna see a lot of in this course, and a short explanation of what you see. At the top, you see the title of the video, with PV standing for practicing video. At the end of the title, you see a BPM number. This is the speed you're playing at. BPM stands for beats per minute, and the higher the number, the faster the pace. So, to the left of the title, you see the beat counter. You can, if you're uncertain when you're going to play, you can look at this one, because you're going to play on 1. And below the beat counter, you got the round counter. This tells you how many more times you're going to play the exercise. So when you play this exercise once, this is going to turn to 7. So you got 8 rounds of this exercise. And you see a video of me playing. That's not always available in the practicing videos, but where there's a need for it, it's there. And then below it you see some kind of notation, in this case charts. And what you see here, when something is in red, popping up in red, that means it's what's going to be played on the next one. So, you're going to get this video here in 50 BPM. Good luck. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you were able to play along with a reasonable degree of confidence, you're probably ready to move on. If you're a bit uncertain, scroll back and do the exercise once more. We're now going to continue and doing it a little bit faster. You're going to get it at 60 BPM.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The thing we're going to do next is we're going to expand this exercise a little bit. And this might become a little bit confusing, but bear in mind that the first finger is doing exactly what we just did. It's moving from here to here. So we are now going to add finger 2 and 3 to this exercise. And you can sort of think of them as one unit, with the second finger above the third finger. And they are going to be placed on the same fret but on neighboring strings. So, and they're going to be on the second. They're going to be on the second fret. So, to our first note, which was located there, we're going to add them below, on the strings below, on the second fret. So, finger 2 goes to string 3, second fret. Finger 3 goes to string 2, second fret, like this. And you're now holding a chord called A. And when we play chords, we very often use something that I call a whole stroke. And a whole stroke is the most powerful technique on the guitar, the one we use to get maximum volume out of the guitar. And in order to get maximum volume, we have to strike each string equally hard, with equal strength. So, and to do this, when we strike the strings, the pick has to move straight through the strings. Because if you use this bow that we used in the half strokes, you're going to hit the middle strings harder than the outer strings. So, in this case, we're going to play over all six strings straight down, like this. In order to get this straight motion, I recommend people moving the entire wrist. Not so much motion, not much rotation. Actually, in the start, I think you should try to not rotate it at all. It might feel a little bit stiff, but we're gonna work on that. So, straight motion through all six strings. So, we're just gonna try that. We're gonna do that 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, that's our first note there, and then we added finger 2 and 3 below. On the second note, which was located here, we're going to add them above the first finger. So the second finger goes to the second fret of the 5th string, and the third finger go to the second fret of the 4th string, like that. We are now holding an E, and we're going to play it with the same technique. So let's do it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and now we're going to do the exactly same exercise. You're going to alternate between these two, playing on beat number 1. And when looking at the practice video here, you will see it looks a little bit different. And as you see both chords on a line, and on these vertical lines here, here, and here, that's the bar lines. So it indicates that between these lines there's 4 beats. And you actually see the beats in this case. I also described how you should do this motion. I recommend move the first finger first and then construct the chord. And don't wait too long before you start preparing the next chord. It's better that you focus on being able to play on the next one. So when you play the chord, start preparing the next one. And I've written down these instructions in the video. So you're gonna get this exercise also in 50 and 60 BPM.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Before we proceed with learning yet another chord, we need to talk about something called chord ranges. Chord ranges. The chord range is simply how many strings you should hit, because you should not always hit all 6 strings. And it's indicated in the chord chart with circles. Anything having a circle is a note that should be played. So the fingers have circles, and if you look at the chord chart of an A, you see that above the first string there's a circle, and above the 5th string there's also a circle. This means that those 5 strings should be played. However, above the 6th string there's a cross, and that means you should not play that note. So when you play an A, you should start above the 5th string and then go right down. Looking at the E, you will see that it's all circles, and it has a chord range of 6 strings. In the beginning here, I don't think you should be too obsessed about the chord ranges, because what's most important right now is that you start getting the fretting hand correct. And being very picky about the chord range might interrupt this process. And so, if you find that it's making it more difficult to fret correctly, you should not be too concerned about the chord range. But at any time when you start feeling that the fretting is simple, the first thing you should focus on is the chord range, provided that your strokes are straight. We're now going to learn another chord, and we're going to learn the chord and how to move to it from an A in the same process. So the chord we're going to learn is called a D. And if you take an A and want to move to a D, we do it like this. Move the first finger down 1 string, so you get it on the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. Then separate the 2nd finger from the 1st, so you get a finger between those two strings. So you get the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and you then take the 3rd finger and put it between finger 1 and 2 on fret 3. So you go to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And a D has a chord range of 4 strings. But as I said, don't be too picky about that. So what you're going to do now is you're going to alternate between an A and a D. So A, move 1st finger, separate 2nd finger and the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. It's described in the video, just like in the last one.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, and here it comes in 60 BPM.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
We've now covered the most difficult parts of this song. There's, however, yet another chord, but it's a simple one. It's called G, and I call this G the small G. It's not an academically correct way of calling it, but I've always called it the small G. There are many different versions of each chord. And you do this simply by taking the first finger, pressing down the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and a chord range of 4 strings. So, in context, you're going to come from an A and move to a G. I don't think you need to practice that separately. After the G comes a D, and I think we should just have a little exercise on that. And it's going to look like this. You play the G, you move the index finger, and construct the chord. So, you're going to get exercise video in 50 and 60 BPM. We've now covered what we needed to start working on the song. Songs consist of parts that have various names. The 2 most common names of song parts is verse and chorus, and this song has only that. And so we're going to practice it. It's the same process. You're going to get a practicing video. There are no new chords. You have practiced the combinations of chords, so it's just the order of the chords that's different. So you're going to get the verse here at 50, 60 and 70 BPM. we're done. We're going to play the chorus, which is simple, I think. It consists a G, the G that we played, and so you're not going to get it at 50, you get it just at 60 and 70. You're now ready to start working on the song video. The song is in 70 BPM, so there's nothing that's mechanically any more difficult than what you've already done. However, when you play along with real instruments and vocals, there's a bit of pressure added, so there's a bit of work still to do. If you get confused, remember you're just going to play on the one in each one. And you can look at the beat counter, or you can look at my wrist in the video if you get confused. So, anything that pops up in red is what's going to be played on the next one, as I mentioned. So, before we start, we can take a look at the song overview, and we find that it's composed of 2 verses, 1 chorus, 1 verse, and then 2 choruses. So, without further ado, let's try it out. Just practice it until you can play it confidently, and you're then ready for the next lesson. Good luck! Hey you, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better. Hey you, don't be afraid. You were made to go out and get her.